How's it going, guys? Welcome to the video. Today is a good one. I have the opportunity to sit down and chat with my buddy Rex. He's gonna actually tell you guys how to start your own 360 photo booth business. You guys, he's been in the business for a super long time, so this is very valuable stuff here. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
How's it going, man?
It's going great. How you doing today, Drew?
Good, busy, but happy. So thanks again, man, for doing this. I just, the whole video, we're gonna be talking about the 360 photo booth. You're a veteran in the business. You've been in it for a long time. So do you mind, a little quick background on you, how long you've been in the business?
Yeah, my name is Rex, and the name of my business is Mr. Smiley's Photo Booth. I've been in the events business 10 years, but in production, probably closer to 20. So that's my background. I have a lot of background in events, whether it's setting up trussing or speakers or dance floors, photo booths, DJ systems. I've done it. So that's a little bit of my background really quick.
Cool. So yeah, before we get into the topic, which is the 360 photo booth, you guys, real quick, pause the video, pause it. First link in the description is Rex's channel. He's going to be making a video on what is the best camera to use for your 360 photo booth. We'll get more into the equipment later, but he's going to be making that video. Rex has been making some really good content. If you're really into the technical side of stuff and building your booth or whatever you need, Rex has a great channel. So again, link in the description, pause it, subscribe, and come back. So
yeah, much for the plug. I really appreciate it. But yeah, that's one of the questions I get asked about the most is what is the best camera to use when doing 360? So I'm just finishing up, writing up the video for it, and it's going to come out very soon. So check that out, guys.
Love that. Hell yeah. Cool. So speaking of 360, what got you into doing the 360 booths? Because I know you've been in the business for a long time, and I'm sure I would like to hear how you stumbled upon it. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The first time I saw it, I think it was back in 2017. And just a little brief history. I want to give credit where credit is due. The first time I saw it, it was done by a company called OrcaView. And I consider them the founders or the godfathers of 360. I saw it at Wedding MBA in Las Vegas. And this was probably back in 2017. And that's when I first saw it. It wasn't as popular back then, but I was like, wow, that's really cool. That's something I want to do. And then I just started looking to see if you could even buy that machine. The 360 platform wasn't something you can walk into a Best Buy or a Guitar Center or any event, event store that you could buy. So it was something really unique back then.
Do you still see 360 photo booths being popular in the future? Like, sometimes these bad things come out, here today, gone tomorrow. What's your thoughts on that?
That's an awesome question. So I would say the photo booth, the portable photo booth, not the coin op ones that you see at the arcade. It became, I want to say, as early, probably the earliest in 2007, where you could start. You had the software, you're able to take the photo and do the print. But to answer your question, just get to it, is 360 going to, how long is the 360 fad going to last? Is it a fad? Is it a staple? It's really hard to say. But the reason I referenced the photo booth is because 2012, we thought it was the height. We had so many people, it became so saturated, but that was 2012. And now we're 2022, 10 years later, and the calls are still there. The demand is still there. And I think the not the audience, but the market has grown, and the portable photo booth has become more of a staple. And people said that about the photo booth 10 years ago. 10 years later, I'm still photo boothing. We're all still photo boothing. There are divergence of it. There are new and little kitschy things about it that comes out every year. But to answer your question, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. It's really hard to say. It's very hard to say.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Too, and I forgot to ask you. So you're gonna be giving out these, what do we call them? Gem bombs or info bombs?
Oh, we call them value bombs.
Value
nuggets.
Bombs.
Yes. So little nuggets that take away.
Yeah, I just wanted, so you do this full time. I just want to make sure everyone's aware that this information is coming from someone that's making a good living. You're successful at it. So, can you touch on that? Like, this is your full
Oh,
time thing, right?
absolutely, absolutely. The photo booth is my full time job, but and we'll get into that. But you can definitely make a living. You if you work hard at it, do your business plan, make the right connections, do a great job. You can definitely make six figures at it. I actually have a book coming out, how to go from 0 to 6 figures in the photo booth business.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna have Drew put that in the link below. But definitely, there are guys that I respect a lot. They do corporate events. They're in the 500,000. They're even guys that are hitting the 7 figure mark. So the market is definitely there if this is what you want to do for a living.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even in like a side hustle too, right? Like you can make some pretty good income if you just have weekends available too. That's what I love about this business is you can have a 9 to 5, right? And you can do your events Saturday, Sunday, maybe Friday nights if you're off early enough. So I think it's important, for people
Yeah.
to realize, yeah, cool, dude, that's awesome.
Just for discussion's sake, I'm just going to take a guess. I haven't done a survey yet, but I would say 75% of the people doing out there is doing it as a side hustle or in addition to another business that they run. I know there are a lot of teachers, a lot of professors, even some realtors. So they sell houses, but it's not a 9 to 5, and they do photo booth or events on the side. So, but if you wanted to do it full time, the answer is it definitely is and can be a full time business.
I love that. Sweet, man. Cool. All right. So next question I wanted to ask you, man, was what advice do you have for someone that is very serious about getting started? What's the first step?
First step definitely is always to do a business plan. Think about how you want to approach the market, uh, who you want to, or what your demographic is. Whether you want to do corporate events, you want to do social events, you want to work with schools, or if you want to do a lot of weddings, make sure that your equipment, your advertising, everything is geared towards the market that you want to attract. If you want to do a lot of high end brands, uh, then you're gonna have to really step up your game. You know,
Mhm.
one of the things that I highly recommend is start with a business plan, and then when you get to the marketing aspect, know that there's always 3 tiers to every market, and two good examples of this is in automotive. So in automotive, we have the worldwide brand Toyota, but then they also have the luxury brand, right? People who can afford more than Toyota and they want that Mercedes or BMW feel, but they want a Japanese car, they're going to go to the Lexus. Then you have the economy level, which would probably be the Scion. So you have Scion, then you have in the middle tier Toyota, in the upper echelon you have Lexus. In clothing, it would be similar to Old Navy, right? And then you have your Gap, and then the next level would be your Banana Republic. So bringing that back to 360 or photo booth is know your market, know your pricing, and know who you want to cater towards. So
Hmm.
that would be my advice.
So like whether someone wants to get a DSLR booth, iPad photo booth, or 360, you recommend it's all the same. Start with the business plan, right?
Start with the business plan, know who you want to cater to, know what you want to achieve, know what you can achieve, know what you want to achieve, and just go after it. At some point, the plan doesn't always work, and you can mold your business plan. The business plan is not written in stone. It's a guide to where it is that you want to go. Maybe you want to do a lot of corporate events, and you find that a lot of people not wanting to work with a company that's just starting out. You need to build more of a portfolio. So then you need to take 2 steps back before you start going forward again. So always that business plan as a guide. Have a general idea. Do your research. Do your
Yes.
research. You don't buy anything whatsoever. Just ask a lot of questions, look at a lot of websites, join a lot of groups. There are a lot of great groups out there. I think you have a group. I'm sorry, I don't want to diverge,
No,
but I
no.
know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
like.
yeah.
Man. Rex is Rex is one of the most helpful people that I've ran into in the business. We created a group. I created a group called Photo Booth Society. Rex is a
Yes.
member. So in the description down below, you guys will find a link to the group. But yeah, man, you're completely right. And I think a lot of people, I don't know what you think about this, but I know I've seen a lot of people get their photo booth first and then they work backwards. Then they try to get hired, and then it's like business plan was never even a thought. So I'm super glad that you brought that up, man.
On that same note, right? On the best, a lot of people would ask me, what is the best photo booth to get, or what is the best shell? And the best is the one that works best for you. So I don't recommend going out and buying the most expensive thing out there. Go in, you can start anywhere between, honestly, $100 and $500. I know people like to buy quality, they like to buy one time, but they might get a booth that's really great, but it doesn't necessarily work for the market that they want to be in. So I know that you have a booth that I really like. I think you should just get in and then start doing events. How do I feel about free events, you ask? I love them. I think getting your feet wet with friends and family, where if you make a mistake, you're still okay, and then once you figure it out, because that's going to be part of your building process. Don't let people discourage you. Don't listen to all the hate out there. You do you get a booth and you get out there, you do a birthday party. I mean, I'm not saying go do a white label or a brand activation or anything like that. Start with friends, family, neighbors, social, neighborhood social events, like a neighborhood watch party or something, and get to know the equipment and what you like and what you don't like, and then figure it out from there. For after you do that, then you can figure out which booth it is that you want to buy. So that, I think that's the best way to go about it.
So perfect transition from there. So you're talking about the booth. So speaking for the 360, what is it actually called? I know, see, this is you guys. Okay, so before I even ask Rex next question, I'm gonna get grilled for this. I did make a video where I talked about the 360 booth and why I don't like it, and I would never get into it. But if you do it like Rex, and you really focus your time and energy with that, you can make it profitable. And we'll talk about that later. But moving on, I just wanted to ask you, what is the equipment called, right? It's like a stand where people stand on, and then what is it, like an arm? Is there like a technical term for that?
I don't know if there's really a technical term, but I refer to it as a 360 platform, a 360 spinner. People call it a 360 booth, but in reality, it's not a booth. It's not a stick. It's a arm that we reference, or a monopod, but it's not really standing on its own. It's attached to the apparatus that makes it spin. So 360 spinner, 360 platform, I think would work.
Okay.
It's not really that important.
And there's I noticed I've done a little bit of research. There's a manual one where you the arm spins around by you pushing it, and there's also automatic ones. What are the main differences? Why would one person want to buy a manual versus an automatic?
I think it all comes down to preference. One is definitely going to be heavier because it has a motor built in. If you have a motor, then you're not going to be able to do things out like at Coachella, where you don't have access to electricity, or you're depending on a generator. So I won't say their benefits. One is better than the other. I just want to say it's more of what's best for the situation, right? So they're just different tools, different tools. Sometimes you would use a screwdriver to hand tighten something, and then sometimes you can use a drill, right? With the screw bit, it's definitely much faster. It's not as precise, but it's just different different tools for different situations. I'm not going to say, I will say this. Here's the value bomb. It doesn't matter. I can't say one is better than the other. One is going to be better than the other for the situation. But in terms of the output, very few people can see the difference. If you know what you're doing, you know, the output's going to look, people in the end are going to be looking at the output. And I think that's the most important.
Okay, perfect. That's a great answer. You know, to a question I see a lot, and issues I see a lot in these Facebook groups about 360 booths, how shaky it is. And I see yours, right? Your footage and like from videos that you post on your YouTube channel about your events for the 360 booth. Dude, yours are smooth, barely any shakiness. What is the secret to that? To get it? Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Wow. Now I'm really gonna have to give secrets. So number one is you got to get a good platform. Okay. If the arm is shaky, once you start spinning it, once people stand on it, it's gonna wobble like there's no tomorrow. So number one is definitely get good hardware. If you're buying, this is what I would recommend something you can touch and feel. People sometimes are shopping by price, so they're gonna buy something overseas, but a lot of time that comes back to bite you in the butt. I'm not saying don't do it. I mean, if you have great vendors out there or people that you worked with before, great, because a lot of them are made overseas. But I recommend going to trade shows like Photo Booth Expo. That's going to be where you be able to stand, try, and it's going to be true. So one of the first things is the platform, the 360 platform, and the arm. Then the second item is not to overload the arm, not with large, gigantic ring lights, because they're just not made to support that. Third point would be, I think, part of the instructions. So this is where it's not a passive activation. It's going to be active, where you're interacting with the guest. You know, give me your 3 best poses. Don't jump up and down, because no matter what platform you use, you're going to get shake if somebody's, you know, doing the giddy up or whatever, jumping up and down. And that's when people get hurt. That's when the camera looks shaky. So you definitely want to give that as an instruction. And then third, lastly, you want to use a recording device that has stabilization, whether it's optical or digital, because that's going to help with the shakiness and obviously, you know, some software as well. But really, it's the image stabilization that's going to help it look less shaky. So that's going to be huge when selecting your 360 platform.
Value bomb, dude. That was like 6 of them right there. Because I think that what you just said is something I think that someone would learn the hard way, you know? Like I see a lot of people posting in the groups that we're in, right? And it's just so bad. And you know, not knocking them. It works, and I'm sure a lot of customers may not even notice the wobbliness. But yeah, that was awesome, dude. Okay. So earlier I mentioned that I do not like the 360 booth business. I think it's a liability. I think the chances of someone getting hurt is a lot higher than other photo booths. I do not like the size of the equipment, and I don't like the passivity, if that's a word. I think you said that the other day. It's stuck passivity. Yeah. But I don't want to be a negative Nancy. What are some of the perks of a 360 booth? I know, like, obviously being being an owner of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely have to agree with you. Number one, it's a lot of liability. So I think if my insurance company knew that I was going to take a camera and swing it around on a platform, they might drop me. But you know, ultimately it's an experience, and that's the reason why we do it. I'm not going to take away from what you said. It is definitely a liability. I've seen elderly couples get hurt. I've seen people get hit in the face. I've seen people fall over and break the arm. So it's much more liability than even a mirror booth or a selfie station or a DSLR camera. You know, once people start drinking, it gets a little crazy, whether it's a social event or a corporate event, it happens. So it's a lot of liability. I understand why you don't want to do it. I understand why a lot of people don't want to do it. They think it's a lot of liability and it's a fad. The reason that we do it is we just think it's a cool experience. And and a quick example of this is back 10 years ago, as mobile photo booths were coming in, people will come up to us at weddings and go, God, that's amazing. And you can print. You mean I get my print right here, right now? I don't have to wait. And you know, we do this week in and week out, and we're thinking like, what rock do you live under? You know, and that's the type of reaction we're getting right now. They're like, wow, you make me feel like a movie star, because once the camera goes around, you have it in, you know, 120 frames per second. You have it slowed down. You have wind going. Some people have sparklers going. Some people have bubbles. Some people have money guns. It's just a really, really fun experience. And I think that's, if you see the fun in it, you don't mind the liability, you have a little bit of a larger vehicle, then yeah, definitely go for it. Go for it. You
And
know, but if you're, yeah, hold on. But if you're on the same side as like, you know what, I really don't want to get sued, or I do have insurance, but I really just don't want to deal with it. Yeah, just definitely stay away, because you're absolutely right about it. Go with your gut. Go with your gut on it.
yeah, yeah. And two, you guys, insurance isn't as expensive as you think. We are currently paying about $32 a month for liability. So that's me in California. I don't know if that's going to be for everyone else, but it is not that much. And to me, for the peace of mind, we've never had to use it. And have you ever had to use yours? Your insurance?
Luckily, we have, right? Luckily, we have not.
Cool. Yeah. And Rex has been in the business, you guys, a long time. But another thing about the you had mentioned to me before we got recording is it's a premium product, right? A 360 photo booth. So you're able to charge a lot more than, let's say, I would for my iPad booth. It may take me maybe like 5 or 6 events to make what you make for just one event for your booth, your 360, right? Because it's a
right. 360 is, yeah, it's definitely newer. It's a premium product. It's like anything else, it's going to run its course, like we talked about earlier, whether it stays or not. It remains to be seen. But for the time being, we do it. We cater to high-end clients, corporate clients, and they're always looking for the next cool thing. And right now, that's the cool thing. It's very saturated, but it's not oversaturated in certain demographics, right? So you have the economy, then you have the mid tier, and then you have the luxury. We try to cater towards that luxury. That's our business plan. So that's where we're catering. And you know, people, the guys that I respect, that I see, they're doing things like Comic-Con or NAM, just major trade shows, doing them 20, 30, even 50,000 for major brands, movie Paramount, a Marvel, Warner Brothers, iHeartRadio. All you guys know I'm talking about. These guys are at the top of their game, you know. So whether something is saturated or not, I think if you execute it properly, I think it'll be around for a while, you know. So it never goes away.
Cool. And then real quick, you know, there's a lot of different softwares you can use, right, for the 360 booth.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't know if I've announced it, but I actually have I'm able to promote Curator. Curator is a iPad photo booth software that can also allow you guys to do 360 booths activations as well. Again, link in the description. You can sign up. They will even hop on a call to help you guys set up your first event. They're very helpful, and then you can get a free month from that. I'm not making any money every time someone signs up. It's just they were kind enough to offer us a free. I guess offer you guys a free month, and then there's a code. I'll leave that next to the link that you have to give them when you have the meeting. But yeah, real quick, when you talk about softwares, right? That's important, very important, right? You have to find one that fits your needs. I think that's what you said last time?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Curator, because that's one of my favorite ones. So definitely look into Curator. But I'm going to start from the beginning and then break it down. So when you're looking, where you're trying to decide, or you're doing research, when doing for 360 software, we're going to break it down into two types. So one is going to be Windows based on a computer, or two, it's going to be smartphone based. iOS predominantly, I would say it's like 90% of the market is going to be iOS software, like Curator. Curator's one of them. Snappic is another that does it really well. Luma Booth is another that I really like. I get asked the question a lot on the smartphone side, hey, can I do it on my Android? And the answer is yes. There is one or two companies that do it on the Android. I believe it's called Booth.event. I'll I'll get back to you on that, so you can put that link below as well. But I don't recommend it because the cameras on the Android doesn't even come close to the camera technology on Apple iOS. So in terms of software, so when you're dealing with Windows, I would say Zentek is probably the standard out there. Another one that I like is DSLR Booth. That's a really good one. And so yeah, just start with those, but you'll see them out there. But A or B, decide whether if you want to be in the Windows realm or if you want to be in the the smartphone realm. One or the other. I haven't seen any of the softwares that are cross-platform. The closest one would probably be Luma Booth and DSLR Booth, because they're brother sister company. They're brother sister products from the same company, but one runs on Windows and one runs on Apple iOS. So lots of choices out there, lots of choices, but make sure to do your research. Don't just get the first thing that pops out, on Google.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you're right. Don't just because I mentioned Curator, don't just get Curator because it's something I mentioned and you get a free month. You're going to want to try to find something that you can use and you can master, something that you can have in your portfolio, because some of these softwares have things that these other ones don't, and you don't want to switch it up halfway through your journey and have to backtrack and tell your customers that hired you from before that the experience isn't the same. So
yeah,
okay.
Glad you mentioned. Hold on, let's go back. I'm glad you mentioned that, because especially with Curator, it's absolutely free to download. So this is whether you're doing Windows side or smartphone side. Download the software, try it, play with it. I believe every single one I mentioned has a trial of some sort, usually 7 days or 30 days, 1 month, and get to know the software, because the best software is the one that makes the most sense to you, right? And I know Curator offers 7 days, yeah.
Valuable.
And I think so you do get 30 days with your code. So that's cool. With Drew's code, you get 30 entire days, so you could actually go and do an event, right? Once they do the download. Very cool. So that's what I definitely, so the value bomb in there is download, test, play, and try. Yeah, absolutely.
So I know you're not going to get into the detail because I know you're making a video. How many camera options are there? You don't have to tell us the best. I know that it's overwhelming because it's a question I'm sure you get asked the most. Can you just list the cameras, or can you tell us how many there are, and why is it important to have the best one?
Absolutely. So when we're doing 360, you have the DSLR option, you have the smartphone option, you have iPads, you even have GoPros. I believe those are the four main cameras. And in my video, which you'll be able to link below, I go into detail about each one and which one I think is the best and why. And I'll just leave it at that. So DSLR, GoPro, smartphone, and iPads.
Awesome. Perfect. Cool, man. Is there anything else, man, you want to add? I think we covered everything. It's a lot of information for someone to get that wants to get started, or, someone that's just interested in general.
Yeah, I think if you're interested, one of the things that I would do differently, if I had it to do all over again, is I think I should have stepped up much faster. You know, sometimes you have things written on paper, things don't always go to plan. I know you have quite a few several business as well, and they just, you know, it happened by happenstance. So with the 360, I've been in it since I've seen it since 2017. I actually purchased mine back in 2019, but I think I could have got it much earlier. And the reason I say that now looking back is I could have made so much more money. There was a lot less people doing it back then. It was even more unique than it is now. And never be afraid, right? As an entrepreneur, you can never be afraid, and don't take chances that you can't come back from. So I'm not telling you to sell your home or your car to go out and do this, but if you have a budget set aside for new activations, definitely go for it. So that would be my word of advice to you, your channel.
Dude, that was amazing. Perfect. All right, Rex, I'm gonna let you go. I know you have a lot of things to do today, and appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and hopefully we'll be able to collaborate again.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Links to everything in the description that we mentioned in the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.